Welcome to Manifesting a Life. Don't get in a panic about this one. That's what it's about, panics. I was in a panic once. I had fainted at church one day, and then after that, I was having panic attacks. I just could hardly do anything. I had a small child at the time, and we lived out in the country, and my husband did a lot of traveling for his work. So I was left alone a lot. And these panic attacks kept me from being able to go out and buy groceries. I could not go into a grocery store hardly without feeling like I was just going to faint right there in the store. I remember one time trying to go from my home 30 miles into Austin to buy my little boy shoes. We had these really wide feet, so we had to go to a special shoe store for his shoes. And halfway there, I just couldn't do it anymore. I had to turn around and go back home. I told my little boy, "I'm sorry, Mommy's not feeling good. I need to go home." At one point, I read an interview in a local paper talking about this psychiatrist in the area that was using this new technique for panic attacks. I thought, oh, great. It's supposed to take care of things really fast and easy. It had to do with eye movements. And I thought, this is what I want. This is what I need. So it took me a while to get enough nerve to call them, because that was another one of my phobias, was telephones. I hated making calls, and I hated taking calls. It was such a major fear for some reason. So I called them up, and what they'd say, "I'm sorry, we're not taking any new clients right now." And they give me anything like, "Oh, well, we might be able to get you in 6 months." No, it's just point blank. No, we're not taking anybody new. Sorry. Good luck. Think, well, try this person or try that person. Nothing. I think they need to go back into training. Somebody calling a psychiatrist's office, they need help. They need help now. But then a book came into my awareness, which I went ahead and purchased. It was called Instant Emotional Healing: Acupressure for the Emotions by George Pratt. I'll put that down in the description. But what was most beneficial to me about this book was not what was in the book really, but what was in the appendix of the book. They had various websites listed. Most of them were not in existence anymore when I bought the book, but one was called emofree.com. That one's still in existence. I'll put a link down below for it also. It was promoting a technique developed by Gary Craig that he labeled as EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique. I taught myself how to do this technique, EFT. It is a very powerful one. I think everybody should know how to use it. Let me just kind of give you a cursory example of it, lead you through the points that I used to overcome this panic attacks. Okay, first we have the inner eyebrow, right there on the end of your eyebrow, inside, inner eyebrow. Then the outer eyebrow, you're on your optical ridge there. You're not tapping on your eye, you're tapping on the bone there around the eye. And then under the eye. So we got 3 around the eye. Then we're going to do 3 down the front. Under the nose, on the chin, and here where your collarbone is, there's that little divot there in your throat. You go kind of catty-corner from that, and there's a place right down there that you just tap on. You can make a fist and kind of hit in the middle of your chest, and you'll probably get close enough to make a difference. And then I'll go under the arm. And on a woman, this is where the bra strap is. On a man, it's right where the tip comes across. Same level. So I learned the technique, and there's another one right here on the side of the hand that you can use too, that is used for a different purpose, to get your meridians going in the right direction. And to learn more, go to the website and you can find out all about it. And there's a lot of books out there about it now too. So I think it's really powerful to know. You can use it for all kinds of emotional problems. Anger, guilt, fears, great for phobias. I've helped people with all kinds of different flying phobias, spider phobias, various different things. Cravings. I helped somebody overcome some cravings. Well, I played around with this technique for several years. Okay, I just played around with it. I learned about it all I could, read books about it, but I really didn't get serious about working on the panic attacks. It took me a few years. Now, why did it take me a couple of years to do this? Why do we procrastinate? Sometimes there's a benefit to being where we are emotionally, being where we are physically. And I never really figured out what this benefit was, being inhibited, not being able to go out to the stores where I really needed to go and do what I needed to do without feeling like I was going to just run out panicking at any moment. But during this time, I also found out that I need to work on the fear of the fear. Not the panic attack itself, but the fear of having the panic attack. The fear of being in fear. And that's very helpful to know. So if you're going to work on this yourself, remember that often it's the fear of the fear. So when I did get serious about working on this, I worked on it about 2 to 3 times a day for about 2 to 3 months. Worked on the fear of the fear. And I felt like it had pretty much shifted. It had gone. So I wanted to test this. I really wanted to learn a lot more about this. So I found that there was going to be a workshop in Orlando, Florida, and I wanted to attend it. Now, we lived in Central Texas at the time. So this involved flying from Killeen, Texas, to Houston to change planes, then flying to Orlando. When I got to Orlando, I had to wait in line for a car for an hour. I've never had to wait like that for a rental car before. Finally got my rental car, drove to the hotel. Guess what? The hotel gave me a room where somebody was already inside. I've never had that happen before either. These are major tests for somebody that has panic attacks. Then the next morning, I had to get up and drive to a different hotel where this was going to be held and meet with these people I'd never met before in this little small room. I didn't really know where I was going. I get to the hotel, I didn't know where the room was and how to find it. And, all these things could be major problems for panickers. And then I had to go back home, the same route, change planes in Houston again and get back home. And I actually did really well. I had a few little twinges on the way home, waiting in the airport for my next flight and that kind of thing. But I did remarkably well. And for those few little twinges, let me show you another point. If you have anxiety, not necessarily a full-blown panic attack, this might help for that, though, help calm you down. Help calm you down can also be tapping on the side of your hand. Just sometimes that helps. I've used that on somebody who had just ran their car into their living room. And I was over there tapping on her hand while she was trying to decide, what do I do next? And she told me later, that really did seem to help calm her down. So I'm glad that did help. I know the neighbors that were also there were thinking, what is she doing? But here's another point I want to show you. You can make this look like a little nervous tick under the table or something. But you follow your little finger down to your wrist. And right there, palm side of your wrist, tap on that. Oh yeah, I can feel the energy shifting right now. I'm feeling more relaxed as it is. Either hand, doesn't matter. Just like with EFT points, you can do either side. Some people like to do both at once. It doesn't matter. You can even skip a point here and there. Don't worry about it. It doesn't have to be in that precise order either. It's very lenient. While you're doing it, you're tapping on the ends of meridians. So you're kind of helping to clear those meridians out. What's going on is that you get a little zit in your meridian system, that stagnant energy, and you're helping to clear that stagnant energy out. That's what's causing the problem. That's why it works with panic attacks. It works with phobias. It works with anger issues. It works with all kinds of things. So I highly recommend everybody should learn this technique. So now I can go into a Walmart or a Lowe's with all those canyon-like aisles with no problem. I can go in there by myself with no problem. So there is hope. So how did I manifest this? Well, first I was open to getting rid of it. Like I said earlier, sometimes we have benefits by holding on to it and we're kind of procrastinating and don't really get to it. But I had to get to the point where I was willing to actually do something about it and get past that hump of procrastination. So when I did finally get serious, it went fairly quickly. Within a couple of months, it was gone, pretty much gone. So if you're struggling with some issue, you look around and see if there's something that has been coming to you into your awareness that you have an idea that it probably could help you, but you haven't really acted on it. Hopefully you'll get to a point where you can actually act upon it and take it seriously and do something about it. If you like this video, please hit the like button and leave me a comment. Let me know if you have ever experienced panic attacks, or have you used EFT maybe to help with something. I'd love to know about that. I love hearing those kind of stories. And thanks for watching. And until next time, go out and manifest your life.